want to, well, my name's Charles, and I have been working on this conference for the last few months pretty hard. Yeah, so I've been really dedicated to this, just like a lot of you in this room. And so I want to introduce our next speaker. Bernadette del Chiaro is the Director Environment California's Clean Energy and Global Warming programs for Environment California and Environment California Research and Policy Center. Since joining staff in 2002, she has led a number of highly successful campaigns, including the Million Solar Roof Bill initiative, which created the nation's largest investment in solar power in history. She was also the leading voice in a landmark campaign to establish an economy-wide cap on global warming pollution in California, AB 32. She's also been widely quoted and published in numerous media outlets, including MSNBC, NPR, New York Times, BBC's World News, Los Angeles Times, and many more. And we're really honored to have her here. And I'm going to let her take it away for now.
I can't resist the opportunity to stand at a desk and pretend I'm a professor up here. Thank you so much, Charles, and I really want to thank Jeremy and Zach and congratulate you guys for the leadership. I mean, look at what you've done. It's amazing. I'm sure there are a lot of people that put a lot of effort into this weekend's conference, but it's really impressive, and I really want to extend congratulations to you all. And it's really sort of, at the end of the day, it's you're taking the time to be leaders, and student leaders in particular, that will, has created this event and created sort of the momentum that young people are showing, and leadership young people are showing on climate change, that we just saw part of in the last two videos. Those videos are actually a really hard act to follow. I'm almost quite humbled by the amount of work that's been happening around the country. You sort of don't realize how much it is going on until you see it. Sort of compact and put to music. It's just the most inspiring thing. I also want to just extend thanks to all of the organizations, sort of the key groups that have been organizing this conference. And again, thank you for the opportunity to come here today. Sierra Student Coalition, Cascade Climate Action Network, Coalition Against Environmental Racism, the Energy Action Coalition, and all of the PIRGs, OSPIRG, WashPIRG, and CalPIRG. Just thank you guys for So again, as Charles introduced me, my name is Bernadette del Chiaro. I run the Energy and Global Warming Programs for Environment California. For those of you who might not be familiar with us, there's also Environment Oregon, Environment Washington. We're a state-based environmental advocacy organization funded through citizens and really focused on sort of protecting our state environments and having a voice in DC. It's a voice for the environment and a voice funded and fueled through citizen action. We are the home of the PIRGs environmental program. We separated from the PIRGs and started in 2002 and most recently in 2007 here in Oregon. But we basically come from the student PIRG and the PIRG movement, and we've sort of taken on the environment hopefully to a whole new level of advocacy in over 24 states across the country and then in Washington, D.C. By sort of thinking about coming here today, the theme of this conference in particular, Power Shift West. I was struck with my belief, at least, as a lifelong Westerner, is that the West is the future. If we are going to shift power in this country, it's going to come from the West, and in particular from the young people in the West. I want to touch on a couple of quick points here, some of which you guys all know well, and that's why you're here today. One is that we're faced with a big problem that is global warming. Two, the good news is the solutions are even bigger. Three, taking action is a lot of fun. And four, you guys can have a big impact, each and every one of you, by taking action starting today and moving on from here. So in terms of big problems, you guys know these facts as well as I. If we do nothing different than business as usual, by 2030, carbon emissions in the United States will be 25% higher than they are today. We continue to build coal-fired power plants. All of the existing ones are not even regulated for carbon dioxide pollution. We continue to rely basically on unsustainable, dirty sources of energy. And our climate is warming at a rate that is proving itself to be impossible, if not very difficult, if we don't do something for us to adapt to it, and more importantly also for the species and the animals that we share this planet with to adapt. I want to tell you one quick story that to me always sticks with me, and it's one that I tell other people who haven't yet quite been bitten by the environmental bug, as Jeremy talked about happening to him. And I encourage you to find your own story to tell people in particular. Stories have stickiness value to them. They're much better than facts, and sometimes facts are really compelling. They'll stick in somebody's mind. But we only have very, short windows of opportunity to impress upon people the need to take action. And so if you can tell a story, it's really powerful. The one that I just one of the ones I like is about sort of the complexity of the problem of climate change. And it's specifically about the North American wood warbler, which is a cute little songbird with yellow-breasted, tiny little bird that migrates from southern Illinois up to northern Minnesota each year. And as it gets ready for its migration in the early spring, by the time it gets, with the temperatures rising and going up and affecting northern Minnesota in the springtime, what happens is, when it arrives, all of the trees have already leafed out. And the caterpillars, which the warbler relies on for its food to feed its young, have already actually gone through their life cycle. And so we're seeing more and more of these warblers not having the food that they need. So the female birds have sort of shouldered the burden of actually trying to move up their breeding cycle. And this is actually putting a burden on the women of the warbler world. After taking this long journey from southern Illinois, they're actually pretty tired. They need to recoup. Normally they would do that, but in this case now they're having to actually breed earlier in order to hatch their chicks early enough to catch the last remaining population of the caterpillars. So that's just one very scientific, but it's, to me, it puts an exclamation point on the need for us to take action now, that the species that we share this planet with, that we're interdependent on, can't adapt as quickly as even we could potentially of just getting in our cars and moving to a higher location. It's just not that simple. And it's just critical that we take action now, as you guys already know, and that's why you're here.